A great miracle is beginning to move very close to your life. And I want you not to take lightly the moment that has been set apart before you today. My beloved child, quiet your heart for a few breaths. Let the world outside step back for a while. Because what I am speaking to you is not a random echo, nor a passing feeling that appears and disappears. This is the moment when I touch the hidden place within you. The place where you have stored burdens not everyone knows about. The place where you have continued trying to appear normal, even though inside you have trembled many times. I have seen you stand firm when everything around you seemed ready to collapse. I have seen you still choose to believe, still choose to do good. You still choose to lift others up, even when your own heart was silently aching. Not one of those things has been forgotten by me. Not one prayer has dissolved into emptiness. Not one tear of yours has fallen outside my care. You may have once thought that your prayers had been delayed for too long, that the things you asked for kept moving farther away, that the door you kept knocking on remained silent. But my child, in the silence you thought was empty, I was working. In the slowness you thought was abandonment, I was arranging. On the days when you saw no sign, I was quietly shaping the answer for you with wisdom beyond what you could understand. Some miracles cannot come in haste, because if they arrive too early, you will not yet have enough peace to receive them. Some doors cannot open immediately, because before you step through them, I need to strengthen your feet, clear your vision, and heal the parts of you that you have grown used to hiding. Your waiting is not rejection. It is the quiet soil where I am causing the seed to sprout. Now, the first thing you need to recognize is that you are not in this moment by accident. The things that led you here are not outside my guidance. From a small thought, an unnamed feeling, a restlessness that caused you to pause, to this very word now touching your heart. All of it can become a sign that I am calling your attention to what I am about to do. You have lived long enough with the feeling of being trapped in old cycles. The worries each morning, the tightening pain in your heart when you think about the future. The quiet questions asking when everything will finally change, I hear them all. You do not need to explain yourself at length before me. I know what you fear. I know what you hope for. I know even the dreams you do not dare to speak aloud because you fear being disappointed again. I speak to you today and say that it is time for you to stop calling yourself the one who has been left behind. You have not been left behind. You are being prepared. You have not been forgotten. You are being preserved. You have not wandered outside my plan simply because you have passed through painful seasons. On the contrary, those very seasons have taught you what ease could never teach. They taught you patience, discernment, who truly remains, the value of peace, and the truth that the most precious thing is not being recognized by everyone, but remaining in my presence. What you have endured has not been useless. The wounds you thought only made you weak, I can turn into places where light enters. The days when you thought you were merely trying to survive, I used to form within you a quiet endurance. Do you know why you are still standing today? Because my hand has never left you. When people walked away, I remained. When you felt misunderstood, I still understood you. When you lay awake because fear slipped into every thought, I still covered you with a closeness your eyes could not see. When you prayed and did not hear an answer, I was not silent because I was indifferent. I was making something that required time to mature. I do not hurry according to the rhythm of your anxiety, because I love you too deeply to give you what has not yet been fully prepared. But neither am I late in the way you fear. I arrive at the right time. And when that time opens, you will understand that every step of waiting had meaning. Therefore, let your heart open to change. Do not cling tightly to old conclusions that you will always be this way, that your family will always be this way, that your future will always be locked inside familiar limitations. I am not limited by your history. I am not hindered by the doors others have closed. I do not lack ways to bring you where you need to be. When I decide to open a path, even things that have stood still for too long can begin to move. The old cycles that exhausted you can be broken by truth, by obedience, by new choices, by the courage to release what no longer belongs to you, and by the grace only I can give. But you must cooperate with what I am doing. Do not ask for a new season while still holding tightly to an old mindset. Do not long for a door to open while still standing with your back turned toward the light. I want you to understand that a miracle is not only something that happens outside you. A miracle is also when your heart stops living in fear. A miracle is when you wake up and no longer allow worry to lead the new day. A miracle is when you are able to forgive what once made your throat tighten. A miracle is when you realize you can still begin again, still believe, still love, still keep walking without being dragged backward by the past. I may open for you a specific opportunity, a timely encounter, unexpected good news, or a breakthrough you have waited long for. But deeper than all of that, I am preparing restoration within you, so that when goodness comes, you will not receive it with panic or suspicion, but with peace, gratitude, and maturity. My beloved child, remember the times you blessed others while you yourself needed to be lifted up. I saw them. The times you spoke kind words while your own heart was hurting. I saw. The times you did not retaliate though you could have. The times you chose silence to preserve peace. The times you sowed good when you had not yet seen results. I remember them all. Do not think hidden faithfulness is a small thing. In my eyes, what you do in secret carries deep value. You do not need the whole world to know you in order for me to recognize you. You do not need the applause of others for me to see. What you have sown in tears can bloom in the season you least expect. And when that season comes, it will not only bring you joy, it will heal the way you look at the years that have passed. Right now, I invite you to lay down the fear that you will be disappointed again. I know you once hoped and then hurt. I know you once believed and then saw things turn out differently from what you expected. But do not let old pain close the door to the new thing. I am not telling you to be blind. I am teaching you to discern. I am not telling you to chase every sign. I am teaching you to remain near me so you may know what comes from peace and what comes from chaos. Open your heart, but open it with wisdom. Wait, but do not wait in despair. Believe, but do not let belief become haste. What I truly do will not steal your peace. It will draw you nearer to me, make you purer, and help you live more steadily. You do not need to tell the whole world about what I am quietly doing within you. Some miracles need to be kept in stillness until they are great enough to testify for themselves. Some seeds need hidden soil before they rise into the light. Some preparations, if exposed too soon, would be shaken by voices of doubt. Therefore, guard what I have placed in your heart with humility. Do not boast before the harvest comes. Do not seek validation from people who do not understand your journey. Let me be the one who confirms you. Let my peace be the sign. Let the fruit come at the right time. And when it comes, you will know it was not luck, but my hand quietly guiding you for a long time. So rise within your heart. My child, do not rise in arrogance, but in gentle faith that I am not finished with you. Do not rise in impatience, but with the readiness to walk step by step in the light. Closed doors are not always endings. Sometimes they are how I keep you from a room that was never meant for you. Delayed things are not always losses. Sometimes they are how I cause the blessing to arrive at the right time. The chains of old cycles are not stronger than my restoring power. You have endured enough words that made you feel small, enough fearful nights, enough years wondering whether your life could change. I speak to you with love. Let me bring you into a new season where you do not only receive a miracle, but become someone transformed by that miracle. As this day continues, carry within your heart the peace that I am near. Pay attention to the small doors, the gentle reminders, the quiet opportunities, and the feelings of peace I place within you. Do your part with faithfulness, and let me do my part with power. You are not abandoned in the waiting. You are not forgotten among the crowd. You are not defined by old cycles. I was with you when you hurt. I am with you while you wait. And I will be with you when you enter the new thing. Believe that what I have prepared for you is coming in the right way, at the most beautiful time, with the deepest peace. And when it opens, you will not only say that everything has changed, you will know that I, myself, kept you through the long night to bring you to this dawn. In the hidden place of the Spirit, I see the chains falling from your life. Every link of fear, lack, delay, and pain breaking under my power. My beloved child, what you cannot see with ordinary eyes does not mean nothing is moving. There are doors that have already begun to open before you hear the sound of the hinges. There are prayers that have been answered before the results touch your hands. There are blessings that have been named in hidden places before they appear in your daily life. I see your name being mentioned in rooms of grace, where provision is being sent, where arrangements begin finding their way toward you, not because you begged until you were exhausted, but because you are my child. I do not bless you because you have been perfect. For if I had to wait until you were perfect before loving and lifting you, your heart would live forever in fear. I bless you because you belong to me, because I have called you by name, because I have placed upon your life a mark that no storm can erase. You have passed through fire and were not consumed. You walked through burning seasons of testing, where everything around you seemed to melt, where your heart was pressed to its limit, where you did not know how much longer you could stand. Yet here you are. You have walked through the valley without completely losing faith. There were days when your faith was only like a small lamp flickering in the wind, but it did not go out because I cupped my hand around it. There were nights when you thought you had failed because you cried too much, trembled too much, and could no longer pray with the strong words you once used. But I do not measure your faith by the volume of your voice. I look at the fact that you still turned toward me even when your heart was weary. That perseverance is what I am answering, not your perfection, not an outward appearance without flaw, not the days when you did everything right, but the endurance that kept you walking when you had 100 reasons to let go. Therefore, stop fighting merely to gain crumbs of life. You were not created to stand outside the door, watching others be fed while convincing yourself that a little is enough. I have prepared a place for you at my table. Not a temporary place, not a lower seat for someone forgotten, but a place that belongs to you in my love and covenant. You have grown too accustomed to living cautiously, too accustomed to shrinking your dreams so you will not be disappointed, too accustomed to asking for very little because you fear that if you ask for much, you will hurt more deeply. But I am teaching you to widen your heart. What I am about to do is not leftover scraps. It is a miracle prepared especially for you, fitting your story, fitting the wounds you have carried, fitting the waiting seasons no one fully understood. It will touch the places that once broke and bring healing not only to you, but also to those who have quietly watched your life. Yes, some people are watching you. Some saw you in your weak season. Some judged you by your days of lack. Some thought you would not make it through. Some do not say it aloud, but they are waiting to see how your story will end. But what they are about to witness is not your collapse. They will witness the sacred rising of someone who was upheld by me in the darkness. They will see that tears did not make you fail, but watered the seed of maturity. They will see that years of delay did not disqualify you, but prepared you for deeper stability. They will see that you did not merely survive the storm, but came out with light in your eyes, wisdom in your heart, greater mercy, and a peace no one can explain unless they acknowledge my hand upon your life. Some among you have been tested beyond what others could have endured. I know this. I have seen you cry in hidden corners where no one came to comfort you. I have heard what you no longer had strength to put into words. The sighs caught in your chest. The questions you hid because you feared that if you said them aloud, you would fall apart. I saw you rise in the morning, even though the night before you almost had no hope left. I saw you try once more, give kindness again, and open your heart to love, even though that very heart had been wounded. My beloved child, these things are not small before me. There are victories with no applause, yet heaven records them. There are steps no one praises, yet I regard them as pure gold. There were times you did not give up, and those very moments became seeds for today's season of restoration. I am not the one who forgets. I do not overlook what you have sown in tears. I do not forget the times you helped others when you yourself needed help. I do not forget the times you forgave while the pain still ached. I do not forget the times you kept silent to protect peace. The times you chose prayer instead of retaliation. The times you kept walking even when your heart felt empty. Do not pass over this call. Do not turn your back on the movement that is beginning in your life. There are moments that do not merely comfort you for one day, but change the entire direction of a life. This is such a moment. I am placing before you an invitation to step out of the old cycle, the old way of seeing, the old fear, the belief that you are only meant to live on what remains. I am calling you into a new season, where you no longer define yourself by what wounded you, but by what I am restoring within you. My spirit is covering you, touching directly the most tired places in your heart. You have asked me many times, Father, when will it be my turn? You have seen others receive open doors, healing, and elevation, and you rejoiced for them, yet quietly hurt because you wondered whether you had been left behind. Today I answer you now. Not some faraway day you must imagine until you are weary. Not next year when you finally feel good enough. Not when everything is perfect. Right now, I am beginning to move in places you once thought were locked, tightly shut. Angels have been sent. Healing is finding its way to the parts of you that have endured too long. Financial chains are gradually losing their grip. Peace is returning to your mind like light returning after a long, dark season. You will sleep well again, not from exhaustion, but from rest. You will smile again, not to hide pain, but because true joy is being restored. You will trust again, not naively, but with wisdom refined through testing. You will thrive again, not because your life has never been broken, but because I have placed new life where there was once injury. I am restoring what the adversary tried to drain from you: joy, strength, courage, clarity, peace, the ability to hope, and the ability to love without living in defense. What is coming will be so good that when you look back, you will no longer be chained to the reasons you once cried. You will still remember the journey, but memory will no longer be a chain. It will become a testimony that I carried you through. So stand firm, my beloved child. Open your heart to receive what I am doing without making yourself small through doubt. Do not say this cannot be for you. Do not say you have waited too long for it to be trustworthy anymore. Do not say your past is stronger than my promise. I am the one who kept you in the fire, led you through the valley, protected you on the days you did not recognize it. And now, I am also the one bringing you into harvest. Let your heart say yes to me with trust. Let your hands open from the grip of fear. Let your eyes look forward. For what I am doing in you will not only lift you up, but will also become a light for those who are watching, so they may know that I still heal, still restore, still open ways, and still turn the weary into witnesses of new life in me. And listen to me just this once. My beloved child, if your heart is still open and the deepest place within you recognizes that this word has not come by accident, then respond with a truthful action, not for appearance, not because of the noise of the crowd, not for numbers or the attention of the world, but as a quiet sign that you are ready, that you still believe, that your whole being is saying yes before my call. I do not need a false response, and I am not seeking an empty gesture. What I desire is a heart that knows how to stop at the right time. Recognize when heaven is touching its life. Bow in humility and say, I am still here. I still want to hear. I still want to follow. There are moments in life not meant to be passed over, but to mark a turning. There are words not only meant to be heard by the ears, but to be allowed into the tired, closed, light-starved places within. I know your waiting has been long. I know there were seasons when you felt you had stood too long before a door that would not open, prayed too much for something that had not come, hoped too long in a land full of silence. I know you wondered whether I heard you, whether the words you spoke in the late night reached me, whether your tears meant anything, when the next morning everything remained the same. But my child, I have never turned away. Even when you did not feel my nearness, I was there. Even when your heart was so dry that you no longer knew how to pray, I still understood your sighs. Even when you had only enough strength to whisper in exhaustion, I still leaned my heart toward you with unchanging love. I counted every tear you shed in places no one could see. I marked every sleepless night, every time you turned over with a heavy heart, every moment you looked into the darkness and tried to tell yourself you had to keep going. I preserved every prayer of yours, not only the words spoken clearly, but also those caught in your throat, the things you wanted to say but did not have the strength to say, the desires you were afraid to admit because you had been disappointed so many times. Nothing in your journey has been wasted. Not one painful season has been overlooked. Not one act of perseverance has been taken lightly. There are things you thought had dissolved into silence, but in my hands they became seeds. And now, I am calling those seeds into their season of bloom. You will begin to understand why I told you to keep holding on. You will understand why I did not let you let go on the days when you almost gave up. You will understand why some prayers were not answered immediately, why some doors had to close, why some people had to leave, why some plans had to stop halfway through. Not every delay is denial, and not every silence is absence. There are waiting seasons I use to prepare something deeper than what you asked for. You asked for a way out, but I am preparing a road for you. You asked for relief, but I am teaching you to enter lasting peace. You asked for a miracle to change your circumstances, but I am also renewing you so that when the miracle comes, you will be able to stand firmly within it. You are not merely existing through the day. You are being positioned, even when you feel as though you are only barely holding on. I am still placing each piece of your life in its proper place, even on days when you feel hidden. I am preparing you for a shining that is not based on pride, but on grace. You are being positioned to rise in a way no one expected. Not by your own strength, not by competition, not by noise, but by quiet faithfulness that has been acknowledged by me. What others did not see, I saw. What others did not understand, I understood. What others called delay, I called preparation. And when the time comes, what I do and you will leave, even you silent, because you will realize that every winding step was never outside my hand. You were created for greater things than endless struggle. I did not create you to live as someone always chased by pressure, always gathering the last scraps of hope, always bowing before the fear of tomorrow. I created you to carry light, to reflect goodness, to walk with a dignity that circumstances cannot take away. Perhaps you have gone through seasons that made you forget this. Perhaps lack, weariness, disappointment, and pain made you think that this is all your life could ever be. But I say to you, no. Your story is wider than what you are seeing. You were created to carry glory, and that glory is not the glitter of the world, but my presence revealed through a life restored, lifted, and made full. You will not step into the next season with empty hands. You will not pass through the new door like someone lacking, trembling, and having nothing to carry. I am preparing you to enter with greater fullness, full of peace, so you will not be swept away by every change. Full of vision, so you can recognize what I am opening. Full of strength, so you will not return to the things that once wounded you. I will place within you the clarity to know what must be kept and what must be released. I will give you the courage to move forward when the door opens. I will soothe the places within you that have grown used to reacting with fear, so you can respond to the new season with trust. What I am bringing you into is not only an outward change, but an inward fullness. I am not like human beings who promise and forget, who speak and change with the wind, who open hope and then abandon you halfway. What I have spoken over your life, I will fulfill in my timing. The word I placed upon you will not fall uselessly to the ground. It may pass through deep soil, through seasons of rain, through days when you see nothing growing, but it still carries life. You may not feel the shift right now, but do not let a temporary feeling become the measure of my faithfulness. There are things moving before you see them. There are paths opening before you set foot upon them. There are hearts being softened, circumstances being arranged, and answers being brought closer. Even though, outwardly, everything may still appear ordinary, believe that the shift has begun. Heaven's clock is never late, never hurried, never out of rhythm, never ruled by human confusion. I know exactly when to open, when to hold, when to lift, when to cover, when to reveal, and when to bring into the light what has grown quietly in secret. And I have declared that this is your time, not because you made yourself worthy by perfection, but because my grace has followed you through every season, because your faith is still breathing, because your heart, though tired, has not completely closed itself to me. Stand firm, my child. Open your heart. Step into the new day as one who knows that you have not been left behind, but are being led to the right place, at the right time, by a love that never fails its promise.